Chapter 103, Bersodo Pov. While being blinded by golden light, I stared ahead. In front of me were people with wings on their backs. They were as beautiful as the angels from the stories. As gods, we celestial dragons indeed need angels under us, so I have already decided which ones I would pick. I even decided on some beautiful females for Daddy. But there was a particular one that I won't share at all. That redhead, her expression is like a lifeless teddy bear. I want her, I want her, I want her. Thinking this, I raised my hand and pointed towards her. It seemed my previous words already caught their attention, so along with her, everyone was already looking at me. You redhead, I order you to come here. Lick my boots, come on. Seeing that she wasn't moving, I stomped on the ground hard. Can't you hear me? Come here, I said. Seeing that she was unfazed by it, I started to walk forward. Or more accurately, I pulled the lash of the slave I was riding on. Fush! Hey! What's this light? However, before I could reach her, the place became brighter than it already was. I feel hot. Fire Fist. General Pov. Among the crowd under Jack, there was a certain blue-haired princess. Vivi looked ahead, her eyes wide as Wiper was going towards the celestial dragon from the air. Wiper was fast. His lower body had turned into the fire and was creating explosions to boost his already astonishing speed. Fire Fist! Screaming that on top of his lungs, Wiper punched towards the world noble named Berseodo. The man's eyes grew up while his suit was about to get engulfed in the fire alongside the slave he was riding on. However, bam! Wiper's fist did hit something, but it wasn't the face of the filthy noble that he wanted to. Kook, you are strong. Is that the Mera Mera no Mi? To block his punch, a vice admiral had jumped forward in front of the noble. He blocked Wiper's fiery punch with full force. He was Vice Admiral Cooler. Q, do we call this a perfect match? While Wiper was pushing forward with his eyes red in anger, he felt his hands going cold. For the first time in 6 years after he ate the fruit, he felt the feeling of cold. As if knowing what was going on, the Marine officer chuckled. I'm Vice Admiral Cooler. I have eaten the cold fruit. Your natural encounter, 1000 degrees Celsius Fire Fist. Wiper didn't listen to him at all and increased the heat of his fire and again punched forward. My natural encounter. Don't make me laugh. Bam! This time the punch hit Cooler in his face as he was thrown a few meters away. He rolled on the ground a few meters away as Wiper shifted his attention to the noble. You, stay back. Stay back, I said. I'm a celestial dragon. I'm a god. The noble was on top of his slave who had a large body, riding him like a horse. He pulled the chain collar of the slave, but the slave didn't seem to move. You bastard, move! Move, damn it! He ordered the slave, but the slave just smirked. He didn't say anything, but Wiper understood what he meant. Grinning, Wiper heated his palms to 1000 degree and tried to grab the noble by the neck. However, he was interrupted again. 4 swords were instantly pointed at his neck, clad in armament. Don't move, withdraw your hand, or you will die. Wiper was cornered by 4 vice admirals who used swords. His hands were in the air, pointing at the world noble who had a nervous smile seeing the vice admirals coming to help. Wiper didn't seem to care. He stayed silent. Ha ha ha! Look at this filthy bastard's face! You can't even show any emotions in fear, right? The world noble lightly slapped Wiper's cheeks to mock him. A few seconds passed. Wiper lightly chuckled. Kikikas, how fascinating. Suddenly his whole body started to become fiery red, just like his hair. The surrounding atmosphere started to heat up, and everyone started to feel the heat instantly, making them sweat. He spat on the bubble helmet of the world noble. You foolish fat idiotic bastard. Wiper's body heated up again. He grinned. Human torch. Explosion. In a second, Wiper's body exploded as a small part of the island got covered in smoke. Everyone from the tribe had evacuated before the explosion. Besides, they are strong enough to endure it. My people at least. Mumbling to himself, Wiper sucked the fire around the place to not burn down the forest right now. The smoke subsided soon enough. Kook, how infuriating. Your fire is hotter than I thought. In front of Wiper, Cooler was back on his feet. He had the slave the noble was riding on his hand, and used him as a meat shield after freezing his body, which blocked Wiper's explosion from reaching the noble. By now, the noble was evacuated a few meters back, and Wiper was surrounded by 7 vice admirals. Meanwhile, the 3 leftovers were protecting the 3 nobles. By now, the marines from the fleet around the island had come here as well. Wiper grinned like a devil. It was Amon's fault that he was so late. Besides, he permitted him to do anything in his absence anyway. So he didn't mind fucking world government in his stead. He could tell, if Amon was here, he would have done the same. He would rather have killed the nobles already. Looks like this is going to be a cheerful day. Wiper's body again heated up. His body got covered in fire. Human Torch. It was Human Torch again, but this time it wasn't an explosion. Transformation. It was a transformation. Meanwhile, the 3 nobles on the back were backing off and were chattering among themselves. What is happening? Aren't we supposed to be invincible? Why are they attacking us? We need to get out of here. The woman named Bimret was freaking out. She felt more scared than the other 2. Except for the other noble, the older sibling, Ainsworth, was quite scared as well. His body was literally shaking. Meanwhile, the only person fine, Beseodo, was on his phone. Even though he witnessed his life almost end, he was fine. "You bastard, where are you? We are being attacked here, why aren't you coming yet? Father said you are fast, but I can't quite see the proof anywhere." He was talking to a Den Mushi. The person behind didn't say much. "Oh, I see. Pardon, I will be there in a flash." Beep! Beseodo threw the snail on the ground and stepped on it, squishing its life out. Daddy was right. This is a situation like God Valley. "Just you wait, you yellow monkey admiral, I will report you to Daddy." Beseodo said it while gritting his teeth. It was then... "You heretics!" A sweet female's voice entered their ears, and a dazzling girl caught their eyes. Beseodo's eyes grew up, looking forward. You are that red-haired bitch. I ordered you to come to me, didn't I?" It was the red-haired priestess, Yona. She seemed unfazed by his red-in-anger face. "You heretic, you asked me to lick your boots." She took out a sword from her waist. "I don't mind licking boots if that is my lord's. However, a heretic won't get such a treatment." She screamed on top of her lungs. "How dare you order me around?" Beside her, Uruj was standing. "You said you were God? How blasphemous! There is only one God, and that is our Lord." Beside him, Tsumi was standing with her sword. It has been passed on to her family from generation to generation. It was an unnamed grade sword. I'm not into fat pigs even if they are rich. What a waste of wealth. The 3 nobles' hands shook. All the 3 of them kept looking ahead while the 3 vice admirals raised their guard. Ainsworth smiled. "You 3, attack them. I want that brown-haired woman. I want the man, he looks strong. The redhead is mine," the 3 noble commanded, as if this was their father's property. The vice admirals gritted their teeth hearing their words. This was a life-and-death situation, and they were still playing around. Yona's eyes went cold. Her purple pupil glimmered red for a second as she dashed forward. "I certainly don't know how strong the rank of vice admiral is, but that won't stop me from punishing those who stand in the way of heavenly judgment. That man disrespected the name of God, he shall pay." This was a situation that would have happened to Amon if he didn't have enough evidence of being the thunder god. Of course it didn't happen. Amon didn't let it happen. Setting her target, Yona gripped her sword tightly. She wasn't as good as Tsumi at swordsmanship. She wasn't as strong as Urouge in the physical department either, but she had a special ability. Hey, I can't read her movements. Same with me. It's almost as if a harmless child is running. She had the power to hide her presence in a level which Amon would need another 10 years to reach. She was a natural-born killer, an assassin. Not only would people not be able to sense her presence, but even if she is in front of someone preparing an attack, they would hesitate to regulate. They would question themselves, is she really dangerous to me? At the play of luck, even if they realize she is attacking them, they won't have a way to block her. They just simply can't read where she would be attacking next. Even if she had her arms raised to cut from above, they won't be able to tell if she won't change her attack mid-away. And indeed, she had the flexibility to change her attack midway as well. Only a person with a future vision would be able to fight against the monster named Yona. I'm my lord's best soldier. Yona was strong, It was lucky Amon didn't have to fight her back then, because one of them would have died, and that one would have most likely been Amon. And now, 6 years later, she was stronger than ever. Why? Saime Kikan, hair hazard. It's because she knew Saime Kikan's actual use. Amon left notes for her before leaving. Her hairs raised in the air and became sharp needle blades. Indeed, the three Vice Admiral couldn't read her movements because, in their caught-off-guard state, Yona penetrated all of their hearts with her hair. Though the blood's color couldn't outmatch her hair's deep red color. As the three bodies of Vice Admirals slowly fell on the floor, unbeknownst to the 7 other Vice Admirals who were fighting Wiper and the other personal guards, Yona coldly stared at the 3 celestial dragons. Witch! It's a witch! The older brother, who had maintained an indifferent outlook up until now, had finally broken into a sweat. Looking at Yona, whose face was covered in blood, the man took a step back in fear of this monster. Yona did something she didn't do in a long time. She laughed. Her eyes were shaking, her heartbeat was fast. Ha 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 ha, look at you. You heretics who dared use Kami's name. She stopped abruptly. If I don't punish you people now, we will receive heaven's judgment. As her face went cold, her hands kept shaking more. With a psychopathic smile on her face, she looked around her. It seems while chasing them, and while the Vice Admirals were protecting the nobles, they had fallen back deep in the forest side. The main fight was at least 2 kilometers away from here. Here only the dead body of the 3 Vice Admiral, a few more Marines who were accompanying them, the 3 World Mobile, and the 3 priests existed. Yona's face became expressionless. A quiet spot. I would have loved to judge you in the open, but this is fine too. Suddenly laughing again, Yona then dashed forward again, slashing her right hand, which had the sword at the World Noble Baseodo's neck. However, stop! A blue-haired girl stepped forward, standing in front of the World Noble. I said stop, Yona, this is dangerous. As Yona's sword was about to penetrate the intruder, Vivi's head, she controlled her adrenaline and used her left hand to slap her right hand in the elbow as it bent in a way it shouldn't. She stopped her feet as well, while grabbing her right hand, which was hanging on her shoulder. Goddess, why are you taking the side of the heretics? Have you decided to betray the god? Yona's eyes went blank. She's been calling her goddess since she is the future wife of Amon. If she decided to take the side of heretics, then things might change. Stop it! Stop this foolish act! What god, what goddess? You are delusional! Come out of your fantasy! Yona's body shook, hearing her each word. You can't touch these people, they are dangerous. If you harm them, you will be inevitably killed. Vivi made a sad face seeing Yona's shocked face. She just bit her lips. Yona, please, I enjoyed my time with you. Don't do this. The blue-haired girl, Vivi's, tears started to fall while she stood in front of the World Noble with her arms spread, stopping any of the 3 priests from attacking.